Hi, I'm Chris, and in this video we're going to take a look at a quick overview of photosynthesis. So photosynthesis, as many of you might be aware, is the process that happens in plants which is their form of cellular respiration. So we as people, which you've probably learned previous to this, usually these two chapters are covered kind of together and cellular respiration is done first. So in cellular respiration, we break down glucose and we generate energy through processes like glycolysis, pyruvate decarboxylation, and the Krebs cycle. In photosynthesis, it's very similar conceptually, but everything kind of runs in the reverse direction. And that's part of the reason that explains why we as people are breathing in oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide, which is a byproduct of our cellular respiration. And plants are breathing in the carbon dioxide and breathing out the oxygen and releasing that because that's a byproduct of their form of respiration. We're going to see how that works here with photosynthesis. So first we'll take a look at this gigantic structure that we see here, which is outlined in green because that's the color that it's going to be in plants due to the pigmentation in chlorophyll. This structure here is called the chloroplast. So I'll put that name here. The chloroplast is the large structure that we see, but within that large structure we actually have two parts of photosynthesis taking place. We have light reactions and then we have the Calvin cycle. So for the light reactions, what happens is you're going to have H2O or water as our input along with light energy. Light energy and water will be the reactants that kick off photosynthesis. So as we go through the light reactions, ultimately what we're going to get out of this through the oxidation of water is we're going to get some oxygen. But we're also going to get out of this process, which takes place in this stacked structure here, and this is known as the thylakoid sacs, this stacked structure here. What we're going to get out of it will be some ATP and some NADPH, both of which will get consumed in the Calvin cycle. So for the Calvin cycle, what we need for the Calvin cycle, in addition to the ATP and NADPH, which come from the light reactions in photosynthesis, for the Calvin cycle we also need some carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is essential because that's what's going to allow us to go through the carbon fixation process, which is going to be where the RUBP gets combined with the CO2 through the enzyme Rubisco. Now that's a little bit more detail than we're going to get into it on this video, but that's something that if your teacher asks you to memorize, let's say, all the intermediates of the Calvin cycle, you need to know all of the structures. Those are some names that you'll need to be familiar with there. So for right now, we just want to make sure we understand the overview. So water and light come in, we get oxygen out, and then ATP and NADPH are used from the light reactions in the Calvin cycle, along with the carbon dioxide. And what we get out of that is going to be sugar. So I'll put glucose here so that we see it in the form of glucose. And then we're also going to get out some ADP and inorganic phosphate, which is symbolized by Pi, and some NADP+, which will then re-enter in our light reactions as we receive more water and more light energy to allow this process to continue. So we can see within the chloroplast that we have this cyclic nature to the production of ATP and NADPH and the release of ADP and Pi and the NADP+ from the Calvin cycle to go back into the light reactions. And then from outside, plants are utilizing light, water, and carbon dioxide. And if we think about what a plant needs to survive and to grow, we know that plants need light, plants need water, and plants need CO2. So hopefully that helps make sense out of this process. The cyclic part represented here in black, and then the net input and output that we see here in blue can allow us to have a strong understanding of the general process of photosynthesis. For more, please feel free to take a look at the links shown here, and you can visit us at sandersondtestprep.com. Thanks for watching.